this is going to be the final video in this little series here, so let's move on and get to doing some forming. First thing I'm going to do is pull off a little strip of duct tape. We're going to need that in just a second. Get our vacuum here ready. Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to just peel off on the side where the rope is the backing from the double-sided tape. You don't want to do all four sides yet, just the side that the rope is coming across. And I'm hitting this little corner here just because it kind of overlaps onto the side there. And then we'll take our vacuum nozzle. We're going to strip the backing off of that and expose the sticky tape. We'll go ahead and place that on the table. We'll slide the two ends of the rope in there, and then we'll line the double-sided tape up so they're in a nice straight line with each other. And that's where that strip of duct tape comes in handy. And we'll just tape the vacuum nozzle down there so it doesn't move, and throw one more on here just to make sure. And that should be secure. Now we'll take some of our plastic here. This is just some 6mm plastic, just from a local home improvement store. I usually like to start at the top, walk it down. You can, this pen doesn't work. Nice pocket knife will work here. You use the blunt side and tuck it into there. Wrap it all the way around the nozzle, and then go ahead and smooth it down. Get a nice tight seal there, a nice tight bond. And then we'll just peel it back a little bit here and out of the way. Okay, now we've got our piece of Kydex. We've got a couple layers of paper towel here. You want to have some gloves handy too. I like to trim the paper towel just basically a half of an inch to an inch overlap on the Kydex. We don't need all that paper towel, but I usually like to use 2 layers. And then we just set that aside and make sure it's close by and handy. We'll go ahead and remove the backing on all the rest of the tape now. The 3M tape's nice because it's kind of split. The backing's split, makes it a little easier to peel. And we'll get that all peeled off. Alright, we should be about all set here. One thing I like to do before we heat the Kydex is I like to place it and see exactly where I'm going to set it when I come back and it's hot. And then I'll put a little piece of tape there. And that'll just give me a reference point of where to place it, because you're going to be moving real quick with it. Now the Kydex heating process, you can use your oven. I like to put a piece of tin foil in there. This is heated up. I get the oven heated up to 325. Put the Kydex in there. You'll want to start checking it every minute. After the first minute, you'll want to check it every 30 seconds. And you're looking for just that real floppiness like this, basically. Kind of like a piece of cheese. Usually about 2.5 minutes, and you're usually about good. You'll want to wear gloves, work quickly, pull your piece of Kydex out, set it on the firearm, the paper towel, and go around and seal the plastic. The paper towel is just to keep the Kydex from heating and melting the plastic on you. Once you've got it sealed up, you get that vacuum going, and you can see I'm pushing down on the vacuum nozzle, and that's just to make a tighter seal. If you have somebody to help you, that's even better. And then that way you have 2 hands to work the Kydex into the contours of the gun. And you'll just want to keep working that. And you'll be able to feel it. The Kydex will harden up. It doesn't take that long for it to harden. Once it's hard, you can go ahead and peel your plastic up. I usually peel it carefully because in case you have to reheat the Kydex, you want to keep that sticky double-sided tape there. But as you can see, we pretty much got it here on the first run. And now we're going to need to do some trimming. Before I do that, I like to make sure the leather's prepped. I like to take some sandpaper around the back edge. The back edge is usually a little bit rough. You'll want to do the whole thing. You're going to place your gun, place it at the angle or the cant that you want it to be on the leather. And then we'll set our shell on top of that. And then what I like to do is I like to use a colored pencil, and I'll basically trace out where I'm going to cut. I like to cut it off at the muzzle. I like to come up a little bit above the trigger guard and get a nice sweeping curve. And we'll do a straight edge along the slide there. And I just like to just a rough there, just rough it out. And we'll take our knife. If you have a bandsaw or some other way, or a little Dremel tool to cut it, a Dremel works great. In this case, though, we're going to use the razor, just because that's what most people are going to have. Again, just some scoring. You always want to score it more than once. 2, 3, even 4 times, depending on the thickness of the Kydex you're using. Don't try to do it all in one shot. As you can see, there's where the pliers come in. Sometimes it helps break it easier. Just take your time. You've got a sharp knife going around curves, so just make sure you take your time and you're careful. And we've got it pretty much roughed out here. Take it, and, a little trimming. We'll make another little mark here. Remove another small section here. It's better to do some trimming instead of trying to get it all on the first try. And that looks pretty good. So we got it roughed out. You're going to want to take some sandpaper and smooth the edges. If you've got that Dremel tool, you can use one of the little sanding drums. Anyway, here's our shell, all sanded up. And believe me, it takes a while if you're going to hand sand it. We want to place it on the leather. I usually put one piece of tape on, hinge it, and then drop it and put the other side on. We'll mark our holes. You're going to want to use a drill bit that's about the same size as the rivet. Just drill it nice and slow, take your time. I like to hold the Kydex in place while I'm drilling it. And then I'll usually put the 3 rivets in on one side, and that'll keep the Kydex from moving around on you while you drill the other 3 holes. Once you've got all the holes drilled, we'll put the other rivets in through the bottom, flip it over. We're going to peel the tape off, and then we'll place the cap on the rivet. And you can usually hear them click when you pop them on, but they're not totally secure yet. As you can see, there's a little gap there. They need to be flattened. I've found a socket extension works really good if you don't have a rivet setter. This one actually has a little concave area in it. And usually just a few little hits on there will set that rivet and flatten it out for you. Once you flatten them, I always go back and check. If you feel a couple of the rivets are still a little bit loose, like I did these 2, you give it another little tap there and get them nice and set. And I think we're about good. I'm going to do a little test fit here. Oh, and that one fit perfect. Nice retention. Still slides in and out. If you need to adjust the retention, a heat gun works great. Last thing we need to do on here is throw some clips on. I like to just pick a spot and start and just see where we're going to place them. I'll start in the 2nd from the bottom or the 3rd from the bottom hole. You'll have to mess around with it once you're wearing the holster to see what angle or what cant or ride height you want to wear your holster at. But we'll use the screws and secure our clips. There's a rubber washer in between the leather and the clip. And that about does it. And we're going to call that holster done. This just gives you a basic idea of doing some of your own home assembly of a holster. Hopefully that helped you out. And if you want to pick up some supplies, you can go to our site, holsterpartsdepot.com. Get started on yours.